much going on in the world today, and I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to, just be walking around not knowing if I'm saved or not, because I hate to say it, it's really, kind of dark and grave, but it's like your next breath isn't promised. Your next, day isn't promised. And I hate to be serious like that and be grave like that, but it really is true. Just make sure that, you know where you're going, and that you're, repenting, and that you're telling your loved ones also about God and building a relationship with Him before it's too late. I should not be laughing. I'm sorry. But yeah, seriously, this is like really real, guys. I don't recommend that anybody play around with their salvation, because like once it's over, it's over. So yikes. I just wanted to mention that in the description box of all of my videos, at the end I have like a prayer that you can pray, a salvation prayer. If you've never given your life, if you've never dedicated your life to the Lord before, or if you want to rededicate, then you can just pray that prayer out loud, and that is, the first step to building that relationship with the Lord. Because if you confess with your mouth and believe in your heart that Jesus is Lord and God is raised him from the dead, then you shall be saved. You won't perish, but you'll have everlasting life. As you can see by the title, today I'm going to be talking about Proverbs 31 and the Proverbs 31 woman. This chapter is like super popular. You might hear people saying like, I'm looking for my Proverbs 31 woman, or like different pieces of this, different verses or scriptures from this chapter are often quoted because it's a chapter dedicated to like what it means to be a woman of God, basically. There's other instances in the Bible where characteristics of a woman of God are mentioned and discussed and should be, studied and then applied to, self-growth. Oh my gosh. I am so sick of this hat. Like, sorry about that. So, yeah, there's other instances in the Bible where characteristics of a woman of God are portrayed, and this is not the only place in the Bible where like characteristics of women of God are mentioned, so don't think that this is the only one. This is just like a really popular one, and I just try to, as I'm growing and like trying to better myself, work on myself, this is something that I'm always referencing, or this is one of the things that I'm always referencing, and it could be helpful to the women of God out there, or people that are looking for their woman of God. These are like the characteristics, some of the characteristics that you should be looking for in that person. I'm sorry, I need to like find a different spot to film other than this window, because it is so distracting and I'm easily distracted. So this is gonna be super informal. I don't have like notes or anything, like a structure of like what I want to say. I'm literally just like referencing the annotations that I've made in my Bible, just like from there discussing what it means and how it can be applied. So first, starting off with Proverbs 31:10. Who can find a virtuous and capable wife? She is more precious than rubies. Her husband can trust her, and she will greatly enrich his life. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. By the way, I'm reading from the New Living Translation. Basically, I just have, I wrote down invaluable, hard to find, one of a kind, trustworthy, loving, and caring. Those are like some of the things that I just wrote down when reading that. So basically, like, you want to be invaluable. You want to not just be like any kind of girl out here. Women of God are set apart. So, when you're set apart, you can't do what these other girls do. You got to carry yourself a certain way. You have to, you can't be caught up in the drama. You can't be like, you have a job to do, you have a purpose. You have to just carry yourself like you are the prize, because at the end of the day, you are. It says, who can find a virtuous and capable wife? She is more precious than rubies. So that means that you have a high price, okay? You are worth rubies, okay? I don't know how much rubies are worth, but that's how much you're worth. And you have to act like it. You have to carry yourself that way. If you know your self-worth, then other people are going to know it as well, and they're going to treat you as such, but you have to first know it. Proverbs 31:13-15. She finds wool and flax and busily spins it. She is like a merchant ship, bringing her food from afar. She gets up before dawn to prepare breakfast for her household and prepare the day's work for her servant girls. So obviously the Proverbs 31 woman, or this woman of noble character, she's hardworking. She gets up and she gets her day started. And I know that's hard, and a lot of times this is something that I need to work on too. I've been an early bird pretty much all my life, but recently with the whole virus and everything, my sleep schedule is like a little bit off. I still, for the most part, get up pretty early. But sometimes I will admit it is hard to get out of bed. But one thing that I noticed, like that I love about getting up early and getting my day started, is you have the whole day. Like if I get up at like 1 p.m., if I get up at 12 or noon, I'm only gonna have like a limited time to get the stuff done that I want to do. At least like this running errands like out in public. I mean, obviously if I have homework, I can stay up a little bit later to do those things. And some people are more productive at night. So like if that's you, that's not what I mean. I'm just saying more so like, I guess just don't be lazy, basically. And I know that it's really easy to be lazy. It's really easy to be, to procrastinate and like put things off. But if you're trying to better yourself, then you have to push yourself. Even if it means setting reminders back to back, like, girl, you need to get up, you need to go do this, go do that. And then I know that not everybody has the luxury of getting up at 8 a.m. Some people work nights, or, you know, if you're like a college student, you obviously aren't going to have like the most rigid schedule. Basically what I'm just trying to say is like, don't be lazy. Make sure that you're on your stuff, getting stuff done, productive. Every day is a day to be productive. Obviously there are, you know, there's a day for rest, but when you're resting, you're still being productive because you are giving yourself, you're taking that action to give yourself a chance to relax. But that's still productivity. Like I said, this is really informal. I'm literally just like rambling, discussing my notes with y'all. So going on to Proverbs 31:16-18. She goes to inspect a field and buys it. With her earnings, she paints a vineyard. She is energetic and strong, a hard worker. She makes sure her dealings are profitable. Her lamp burns late into the night. She makes sure her dealings are profitable. That means she manages money well. She is energetic and strong. Once again, a hard worker. So she's not lazy. She's a businesswoman. She got her stuff together. She, you know, she's got her own. I know that like right now we live in a society of like women in luxury. And I 100% respect that. It's really important for us as women to make sure that we not only like are making lists for like our boo or whatever, but we're also being that list. Like if you say you want a man that makes 6 figures, 7 figures, okay. If you say you want a man that like has no debt, okay. But what do you bring to the table? Make sure that when you're making your list, you are your list. How can you say like you want him to have 6 figures and like not have any debt, and you're over here struggling, you know, making nowhere near like 5 figures? Like you can't, that's not really fair. And then that gives him room to control you if you don't have, you know, that for yourself. If you're wondering like, why am I not in a relationship where like I can be spoiled or, you know, whatever, but then you have to sit there and ask yourself, okay, I want to be spoiled, but can I afford to spoil myself? Can I manage my own money before I'm worried about like who's about to spend some money on me? With her earnings, she plants a vineyard, so she invests. And I'm not just talking about money, but she invests her time. Her time is important. She prioritizes, she's organized. Her time is precious, her money is precious, and also she herself is precious. Her presence itself is precious. So then going on to verse 19-21. Her hands are busy spinning thread, her fingers twisting fiber. She extends a helping hand to the poor and opens her arms to the needy. She has no fear of winter for her household, for everyone has warm clothes. Her hands are busy spinning thread. Once again, she's a hard worker. And I've noticed, even just in regular books, not even in the Bible, when something is mentioned multiple times, that is the author is doing that on purpose to show you that that is something that's important, something that you need to keep in mind. So that was mentioned already 3 times, and we're just like 20 verses in. So that means that it is important as a woman to be hardworking, and that doesn't necessarily mean hardworking in the business field. Some women, prefer to stay at home, but they are hardworking moms, whatever their job is, whether it's a mom, whether it's a lawyer, whether it's a doctor, whether it's an entrepreneur, whatever their job is, they work hard at it. They're not lazy. They make sure that they're productive and stuff gets done. And obviously, you got to give yourself some grace, but at the same time, you can't just be, I guess you could, but if you want to be that woman of noble character, that woman of God, with these characteristics, then part of that is going to be being hardworking, as you can see throughout these first 20 verses. A woman of God also has a servant heart. She extends a helping hand to the poor and opens her arms to the needy. When was the last time you did community service? When was the last time you helped out a friend in need? When was the last time you sacrificed your own needs, your own desires for somebody else? When was the last time that you were selfless? Obviously, you do have to take care of yourself first, but once you do feel like you are able to be there for somebody else, you need to be there for somebody else. There's so many people in this world that need help. There's always a need that needs to be filled. Always, some service can always be done in all areas of life, and all, there's people that you don't even know may need help, and they do. But just by having that servant heart and making it like a habit to help people, that can help to build your character. She has no fear of winter for her household, and everybody has warm clothes. She has faith in God, and she knows that God is going to provide, especially because not only with her faith, she's also putting in work. So she's not really worried about, oh, it looks this way to me, but God is seeing something completely different. So her faith is in him. Her faith is in, the work that she's doing through him. Verse 22 through 24. She makes her own bedspread. She dresses in fine linen and purple gowns. Her husband is well known at the city gates, where he sits with the other civic leaders. She makes belted linen garments and sashes to sell to the merchants. So she's a hustler. She got a business or brand of her own. And I'm not saying that you have to have a brand, or that you have to have, your own business. But this woman is walking in her purpose. She is doing what God has called her to do. And ultimately, that's what this is saying. It's not saying that every woman has to be an entrepreneur. No, that's not what it's saying. If you are a mom, then you better be the best mom that you can be, or, get close enough. And that doesn't mean perfect, but you are, doing your best. And you're serving your husband or your spouse, you're serving your kids, you're serving yourself. So in whatever you do, you're doing it to the best of your ability. You're hustling. And if you are an entrepreneur, then this is, definitely for you, but it's also for whatever your purpose is, whatever you are called by God to do. 25 through 27. She is clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. When she speaks, her words are wise, and she gives instructions with kindness. She carefully watches everything in her household, and nothing suffers from laziness. So the first 2 verses that I read, those are really popular or really well known. A lot of people quote those a lot. They're on shirts and all other kinds of paraphernalia. I can't believe I just used that word in a sentence, but it's true. Those are really well-known verses. But that's because they're real, and they really do, portray and exemplify noble character of a woman of God. And then I have written down in my notes, she has a plan, she's strong, she keeps her head up, she speaks kind, wise words, she's hardworking. Once again, she's observant, she's watchful. Once again, she's laughing without fear of the future. She has her faith in God. She has her faith in, her work through God, which is like her purpose, what she's called to do, and like how she's fulfilling it. When she speaks, her words are wise. Don't be one of these girls that's out here just talking nonsense, talking out the side of their neck, got worms for brains. Don't let that be you. Obviously, you don't have to be serious all the time, and you don't have to, just be prophesying and speaking like wisdom all the time. I'm just saying that when you do talk, just talk in a way that shows that you have respect for yourself and for your image, not just for the purpose of the public, but just for the purpose of like representing God. Because if you call yourself a woman of God and you're not out here acting like it, then that looks bad on his behalf, because it's like, oh, so these are your women, God, these are your daughters that you got, they out here talking crazy. That doesn't look good for him. So just keeping in mind like what you're saying, think before you speak. And I will admit, sometimes it's hard. When you're angry, when you're mad, somebody has irritated you, it's easy to just pop off. It's easy to just go off and start, using every cuss word in the book. But that's not like a good reflection of God. If you call yourself a woman of God, you have to, act like it. And obviously, mistakes happen. We're not perfect, but we are made in his image, and we gotta act like we're made in his image. We have to uphold that image, uphold that standard if we're going to be calling ourselves women of God. If we're going to say that we have these noble characteristics, we got to actually have them. Just saying. Verses 28 and 29, her children stand and bless her. Her husband praises her. There are many virtuous and capable women in the world, but you surpass them all. So for anyone out there watching that is a mother or the wife, this is for you. And then for all of the women that are planning to have children in the future, are planning to be blessed with the honor of motherhood and marriage in the future, this is also for you. Your kids and your husband should honor you and respect you. You should be with a man, or even if you're not married, you should just be with a man that respects you. Don't settle for some. I'm not even about to go into that, but make sure you're with a man that respects you. Like, I understand that some relationships you have issues. That happens with any relationship, parental relationship, sibling relationships, friendships. It happens with all relationships, conflict. But if he just downright is disrespectful, okay, that's a little bit different. He gotta go. This woman of noble character, this woman of God, is one of a kind. She's not a woman that you just see. She's not like everybody else. She stands out against the crowd, because like it says, there are many virtuous and capable women in the world, but you surpass them all. So you have to make sure that your person, who you're dating, sees you as the prize. Like, obviously when you're dating, when you're married, other people don't just become ugly. Like that's not what happens. Like in a sea of all these little fake trophies that look good, I mean, it's still a trophy nonetheless. You want to be you have to make sure that you are seen as the best one, if that makes sense. Make sure that you're not like basic and following trends and the ways of the world. You stand out from these other girls that may be beautiful, but like I said, they have worms for brains. And last but not least, this is these two are my favorite verses in this chapter. 30 and 31. Charm is deceptive and beauty does not last, but a woman who fears the Lord will be greatly praised. Reward her for all she has done. let her deeds publicly declare her praise. Basically, this woman of noble character, this woman of God, her greatness goes without saying. You can just see the anointing on her when she walks in a room. You know how they say like when she walks into the room, all heads turn. That's the woman that you want to be. You want to not be, you know, conceited, but you do want to have that confidence in you, where, you know, you walk into a room and you're just like, you know, you're just that one. Not only just that, but like people can see when you have that calling on your life. People can see when you have that relationship with God, and it kind of makes them, you know, do a double take, because you are one of a kind, because you are set apart. Like I said, they can see that anointing on you. They can see, you know, the spirit in you, and it's ultimately gonna like draw them to God, because if they see, you know, how you're carrying yourself, if they see how things are going in your life, and then they ask you like, you know, how do I do this, or how do you handle this situation? Once you start talking about God, you just open up the door for somebody else to get saved. So the way that you carry yourself is really important, not just for yourself, not just for like the image of other people, but like I said, for the image of God. You are a reflection of Him. You are made in His image. You are, you know, He created you. So if you want to call yourself a woman of God, a woman of noble character, you have to be that woman of God. You have to be that woman of noble character. And like I said, when people, you know, see that, they are seeing God ultimately. That's really important, that you know, have a relationship with God if you're going to say that you're a woman of God, a woman of noble character. If you're out here, if you want to, you know, disown God and say like, you know, that you don't associate with Him, that's something different. That's on you. That's fine. But if you are claiming yourself to be a woman of God, you need to, like I've been saying, actually be a woman of God. Be God-fearing. Have that relationship with Him. Make sure that you're reading your Bible. Make sure that you're, you know, praying and going to church and surrounding yourself with people who are also God-fearing. Be obedient, and like when He tells you to do something, listen to it. That's what it means to be God-fearing. It means that you are like at His beck and call in a way. It's not even just about like going to church and reading your Bible. It's also about, if God tells you to go out here and do something and you like, that sounds crazy. You sound crazy. Are you gonna do it? Are you gonna answer that call? Or if God is telling you to, you know, give up, you know, something, and die to your flesh, and your flesh is like, oh, but this is so fun, I just love doing this, and He's like, well, it's gonna be your ultimate downfall, but if you want to keep doing it, then okay. And you're just like, okay, are you really God-fearing? Hard to tell. That's basically my like analysis of the Proverbs 31 woman, the noble characteristics, or no, I shouldn't put that in air quotes. The noble characteristics of a woman of God. I always like to be as transparent and honest as possible. I will admit that, you know, I'm not somebody that has all these things down. I still make mistakes every day. I'm still growing every day, getting closer to God every day, learning new things about Him every day, learning new things about myself every day, learning new things about the Bible every day. I'm not perfect, and I'm never gonna try to get on here and make it seem like I am. I'm just trying to like spread the word at the end of the day, because we all need it, even me. And this is stuff that I'm still learning, so this is helpful for me as well, to look back at this and remind myself, okay, these are the things that I need to be working towards. One thing that I want to know, like I said, is if you are making, you know, your list for a spouse or for a boo, make sure that you have the things on that list. Maybe this person that you're looking for that you know, has 6 figures, they probably want somebody that has 6 figures too. Like, come on now. You have to play fair for yourself first before you're like praying for that person. I know that was like kind of, might have seemed like I was just like rambling. I wanted to just do something a little more informal, and I really love this chapter, and I know that like a lot of people do as well. So I hope that you all got something out of it. Comment below if there's any other like chapters that you guys want me to do like an analysis of, just like, you know, kind of discuss like what I think it means. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with anybody that you think might enjoy it. Share this channel with somebody you think might enjoy it. You guys will see me in the next video. Bye guys. you.